Hey, what's up, my people? I'm Jay, and this is the very first review of the very first episode of Flash for CW. So we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to just point out a couple things that I noticed about this episode, that I've noticed about the show so far. Number one, this is not Arrow. Okay? That should be obvious to most people, but this is not Arrow. It's a much brighter world. Everything's not so gritty, you know what I mean? This has more of a brightness to it, which is different and welcoming. I kind of like it. I have to see what they do with it first, but for now I think it's pretty cool. We get into Barry, we get to meet Barry, and we've met him before on the episode of Arrow, but for here we get to see a different side of him. We get to see the beginnings, his origin. So in the very beginning he seems to be slow, obviously. You know, you don't give fast powers to someone who's historically quick. He's the hero type. He's like, I see injustice, I gotta stop it, no, bad guys. Also in his origin story is the death of his mother. There's a similarity between the death of his mom and the death of Sam and Dean Winchester's mom from Supernatural. Also a show that I'm reviewing. I'm not gonna just, click below. So like I said, the origin story is very similar to Sam. Something weird and unexplainable and kind of odd happens to his mother, and she dies. We see later on in the episode that there's a reason. There's obviously a reason. There's a reason, and there's a technique, or there's a little nod to what's happening that's easy to understand, and it's good. It's good. It's kind of, here's the thing, parts of this episode are easy to anticipate, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Sometimes you want things to come as a shock. So I'm not saying there's a strike against the episode, but it's something to consider going forward. You gotta make things a little less predictable. Speaking of that, I know this show is The Flash, okay? And that means it's all about speed, and it's all about his ability to be very fast. But there was a lot of little digs and snaps and little homages to the word speed and the concept of being fast. And it gets to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. Speed means something in this episode, okay, in the show. Speed is important. There's a scene where the cop has stopped the guy that stole the purse, right? And he says, freeze, okay? Obviously, the cop said that. He says, freeze. Then he says, don't move, or we'll see if you're faster than the speeding bullet. He's just a regular guy. There's no reason for you to say that. Speeding bullet is also very Superman-y. I don't think it's necessary. With the death of the mother, his father has been basically blamed and framed for this murder. So Barry grows up without his parents in the care of Detective West, which I feel like is an homage to Wally West, which is another Flash name, character, or whatever. So that's a question I had. I wanted to know, because I'm not that familiar with the comics. Is there a Detective West in the comics? Let me know below, because I feel like it's just a little way of throwing back Wally West, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure in that case there's going to be a Bart Allen somewhere. But whatever, that's cool. I like it. At Star Labs, after the explosion and everything, you can see like a broken down cage, and it says Grodd or Grood. It's Grodd. I want to say Grodd. It's Grodd. And that's Gorilla Grodd, who is the smart gorilla man with the brains, and he's the... I think that's cool. I like, seeing those little Easter egg things. My thing is that character is near impossible to actually see in the show, so if you're looking for him, you're probably not going to see, because the CGI alone will be awful. Just a giant gorilla, smart and stuff, and he's just walking around, intellect is good. It's just going to be hard to get across. I mean, power is going to be a thing. Like in Arrow, no one really had any powers, and if they did, it was so subtle that it wasn't really, like, you couldn't really consider it a power. Like, the closest thing they had was the serum that made people super strong. So powers and metahumans and all that stuff, the blast caused the creation of a whole breed of metahumans, so power's going to be everywhere, and I think that's good if it's done right. The first guy with the little smoke and storm stuff happening, that was cool, I got it. You know, it's the first little taste of what's going on. I hope it gets better, and you know, we start to see a lot of other powers. We'll see what happens. I licked my lips. I felt very LL. Like, let me put butt on. Fuck is wrong with me? Can I say something? Like, the first Flash outfit was horrendous. Like, that was sad. Like, if I was Barry, I'd been like, y'all, no, this is not gonna happen. I don't know what makes you think this is happening, because it ain't. This shit is not going down. Sorry. No. Look at my knees. Are you fucking kidding me? I have my notes, because I'm a student of life. Barry gets hit by lightning, and he goes into a coma for 9 or 8 months, and he comes out of it, and all of a sudden he's super fast. And they do his little testing, like I said, with the first suit, which was horrendous. And, you know, he starts to remember things. Now, this thing is very interesting, and this memory is very interesting. He remembers what happened to his mother, and now, because his mind can process speeds that are incredible and out of normal, he remembers seeing the images, and now he has the ability to see in those images and see the speed for what it is. And he was able to see a face. Now, I have several ideas of who the head or body or face or whatever belong to. It's kind of borderline obvious. I'm not going to say it, because if it's not true, I don't want to look stupid. And I'm sure people say it in the comments below, and I want you to. Go ahead, say it. Say it right there. But I think that's interesting, and I think it's odd at the same time, because in your memories, it can only pick up what you remember seeing. You know what I mean? But somehow he can see his memory and see stuff that happened because he could slow it down. It's very interesting to think about. I don't know if that would be practical, but I like it, and I see how they could use that. Barry is going through a crisis of character. He wants to be a hero, but he feels like the doctor told him that he shouldn't do it. It's something that, you know, it's not for you. You have this potential to save people and help people, but not as a hero. And he's suffering and struggling with that idea. So what does he do? He goes to the only other hero he's ever seen or met, and he goes see Arrow. Now, we all knew this was coming, because, I mean, there's no other show for him to cross over into. So if it's going to be one, it's going to be Arrow, the same network. He goes to Starling City, and he talks to Arrow, and Arrow basically gives him the pep talk that he needs so that he can don a suit and become a hero of his own. And in fact, he names him. He kind of says, you can save people in a flash, and it's obvious that's where it's going. When is Batman gonna show up? But that's okay, cool, whatever. And one of the funnier moments of the episode, Detective West had one of the best lines. Okay, the dude that died in the plane crash turned out to be the smoke guy, and they confront him, and he says, I realize what I am. I'm God. He says, I'm God. He said, that's who I am. I'm God. And Detective West says, shut the hell up. He says, shut the hell up. And that was the best line for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There were a lot of weird, weak lines, but that one was pretty strong. Can I be honest with you though? Barry is a terrible superhero. Like, he's awful. He got the job done. He saved people's lives, which is great. Okay? But you've been in costume for like 3 minutes. How the hell you done showed your face already? You showed your face to the bad guy. Detective Weston saw your face. You're not good at this at all. I hope you get better, because you're fast, so you can probably, probably get off on some of that stuff because you're fast. But like, dude, you couldn't pull it together for 3 minutes without being saw by 2 people. Basically, this was the end of the episode, right? And I was already formulating my opinions about what I felt about it. I was like, this is good, but it's not enough. Like, I don't feel like a lot of, mystery and intrigue going on. And I just was like, well, this was okay. And I mean, I'll watch it, but I'm not really feeling like the of it, right? Then the little side sequence comes up at the end with the doctor. First of all, he's a fucking liar. He is not wheelchair bound. Okay? That's one. Two, he goes into the little secret room, okay, and he gets in there and he's looking around and the room seems like super sciencey, super futuristic or something. He gets up out of the wheelchair. Once again, you're a fucking liar. You can walk. You around here sulking like you can't walk and you can fucking walk. Okay? Then he gets up, he goes to like this thing and he pulls up a hologram of a newspaper from 2024. First of all, why do they still have newspapers in 2024? Number two, it's about the Flash. Okay? So he knew what was going on. He knew everything and he played a part against the Flash to get him to become the Flash. I'm very, like I say, interesting a lot. I feel like that. I understand it's interesting how I say that. That was a joke. I don't. But, you know what I mean? This is intriguing at the very least. I want to know more about it. I want to know what that is because, like I said, I'm not a big, I don't know much about the Flash franchise besides what I've seen on Justice League and stuff like that. So I'm really interested in seeing what's going to happen with that and why he's lying. That's my review for this episode. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. Let me know if you liked it. Will you be watching it more? And that's about it for me. I'm Jay. Thanks for watching. Deuces.